Okay, I'd like to call this Community Center and Senior Center Advisory Committee special meeting to order. We could have a roll call, please.
Ms. Beauvais? Here. Mr. Sear?
Here.
Ms. Gombach? Here. Mr. Grady?
Here.
Mr. Letty?
Here.
Mr. Uranaga?
Here. Okay, great. The first thing up is our audience of citizens. If we could do anybody online first, they want to speak. Any comments? Nobody? Okay. Last chance. We'll move on to audience of citizens for anybody in the room who wants to come forward and speak, and please give your name, address, or
Where do I
come to the microphone up there.
Why not me? If you're vaccinated, you're vaccinated.
Jan Zagorski, 63 Grandview Ave.
Hello?
I'm just gonna make my pitch again for when a pool is put in, that there be a diving facility associated with it. There are no longer boards that Berlin has been allowed to use in Meridian at Platter Maloney. The Y's don't have boards. The second board at Plainville just was questionable when I was there with the kids. I coached both Southington and Berlin at Plainville at Berlin because I have no life. And there's just no boards around, and it's frustrating for kids some who are trying to qualify for college scholarships, and there's just no place to go and dive. So that's a plug for if you're putting in a pool, diving well, not well, just a board would be nice. Love a 3 meter, but that ain't happening.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Tim Thurston, 100 Sawmill Drive in Berlin. First of all, where I'm coming from, I was a swimmer for many, many years. I went to Sheehan High School in Wallingford. Our practice was basically walk down the hall to the pool. Okay, now I've had 5 children come through the Berlin schools that have all swam for the town. That have all gone to Plainville, Meridian, Middletown, etc. to find practices, etc. I am so glad that we're actually talking about the community center, the senior center, community center, that we're going to put a plan of action. We're going to let the town speak. I think once, and I apologize about the small crowds and everything else. I think once people get in paper what we're looking for, what you're looking for, you'll get more people interested, and I think you'll have quite a vote on this thing as it goes forward. Just this year, the class swimming finals are up in the air. We still have no date as to where and when those are going to take place. They've always had the state finals, either Yale University or Wesleyan University. Both of them have said no this year. So they really, and the finals are coming up in 2 or 3 weeks, so it should be interesting. One of the reasons that, to do a facility that should be made for, the next 50 to 100 years, to do it right, this could be something that you could actually host and make money on. This is not going to be a money-making position or a facility. We know that. What in town government really is, but it's a benefit to the town. The other thing I'd like to say is I travel quite a bit as in food service for schools, etc. The last place that I'd like you to look at is East Line Aquatic Center. It's a kind of a offshoot to the high school, kind of like Berlin's looking across the street. It has an 8-lane pool. It has a diving board, 2 diving boards in the competition pool. It also has the other pool, a 4-lane heated pool, that would be for people doing exercises, aquasizing, etc. And you also have a splash, instead of a jacuzzi type of thing, they have a splash pad to entice the parents to bring the little kids. So if you get a chance, please look at the East Lyme Aquatic Center. And that's what I got to say. Thanks.
Can I ask you a quick question before you?
Sure.
Now, you said 8-lane pool. Is that minimum, maximum required or?
6 lane is minimum. To really have it, to host a competition, you need 8 lanes, right? And a lot of the times, one of those lanes will be a sliding part for, a handicapped. It could be either an 8th lane or a slide in. So,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
I can also ask a question, Mr.
Sure.
Thurston. When I was in high school, well, I don't think we had a stop sign. So I want to make sure I have a better understanding of this. I know, when I played football was fall, baseball was spring, and basketball was winter. Does swim team have a season?
well, winter is the season.
Winter is
Girls,
the season.
girls have the fall, guys have the winter, but these guys practice all year long. There's a Silverfins swim team that the kids start when they're about 3 or 4 years old. And they start in September and they go until April and May. It's an all, and then during the summer, we have the Berlin Dolphins that a lot of these kids swim on. That's their minor league team. Comes up to the high school. And I gotta congratulate, if you think of the facilities that we lack in this town, to have the teams that we had. Our team just went into Bristol, which has a beautiful facility over in Park Giamatti Center, and was underdogs. And they just came out with a 1-point win. It's like 92-91 in an upset. So the kids, you had to see even the kids that got like 5th place. The kids on the side of the pool, yelling and screaming on for the kid that got 5th place, not the star of the team, the kid that got 5th place. Okay? This is, we travel every week to these type of places. So
The other question I have for you, sir, is,
it's not,
Is-
sir, that was my
okay, all right, Mr. Thurston.
father. Tim.
Is it freshman JV varsity like other sports?
No, it's only varsity right now.
Varsity, okay, all right.
No, actually, when I was growing up, we had a varsity and JV team. But some of them, like Meridian, actually has a middle school swim team. That's another feeder up to theirs.
The other question I had for you, Mr. Thurston, is that, do we have a swim team at the deep or just at Berlin?
No, just Berlin High School.
Berlin High? And how many students are members of the swim team at Berlin High? Trying to figure out the size of the program.
It's anywhere from like 20 to 30.
Total, boys and girls?
Oh, no. A lot of the other towns have, they have girls that come onto the team. And to his credit, Jim Day and then, the athletic director since said, we're not going to allow girls on the boys team. Like Avon, they'll allow the girls, even though they don't have a girls swim team, so they allow them to come. But it allows the girls to play soccer during the fall and swim during the summer, or during the winter. The problem with that is Berlin has a girls swim team, and they have a girls team that has how many kids?
28.
28 to 30 kids.
Why don't you let Dan answer the question?
Yeah, good thing. If you come down, I can answer all these questions.
Well, I didn't know if he was coming out, so
I
you're out here before you
we gotta
left.
figure them out. So, right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
How are you, Mrs. Year? Dan Thurston, 16 Conlin Way, teach at Berlin High School. I have 2 kids, 2.5 and 6 months, almost 3 and 6 months, shoot. And I've been coaching at Berlin High School.
Dan, can I just ask you to,
Yeah.
you don't have to take off the mask, maybe just talk louder?
Yep. Okay, there we go. Dan Thurston, 16 Conlin Way. I've been teaching at Berlin High School since 2008. I've been coaching at Berlin High School since 2009. I've been head coach at Berlin High School since 2012 for the men's team. My sister Emily, who's also a Berlin resident, has been a coach for the Berlin Dolphins recreation swim team for the last 10 years. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old who are in Berlin and intend to continue living in Berlin for their lifespan or for their childhood. And so I have a very vested interest in where this is going. As a parent, teacher, coach, and citizen. Parents both live in Berlin. My sister, brother-in-law, and their kids live in Berlin. I really have a full understanding. We talked last time about a generational bond. That's my family. I will be paying that. And I have full understanding of that. My sister's family will be paying that. Those are my kids. Wanted to talk about a couple of things, but first I wanted to answer Mr. Sears' questions. Mr. Sears, the swim team, the women's swim team, just like football, basketball, baseball, has a set CIAC schedule or a season in the fall. They run end of August until beginning of November, just like cross country, volleyball, soccer, and football, just like any of the fall sports. Men's swimming in Connecticut, CIAC sets that as running from beginning of December to the end of March. We are in a part of the state that is traditionally swimming rich. We have a big group of teams in the state. Pre-COVID, we had 2 programs in Meridian, and we had multiple programs coming out of Middletown and multiple programs coming out of Plainville, where there were youth leagues, youth teams, both Park and Rec, and USA Swimming or YMCA affiliated, including the Meridian Seals program and the Meridian Silverfins program in Meridian. So those are all there. Currently, the women's swim team this year, I believe, had 24 athletes. In the past, they've been anywhere up to 40. In past years, where we had a little bit more of an opportunity to gather as a team and build team size. Guys swim team this year is size of 23. 2020, pre the beginning of COVID, we had a size of 35. And usually it runs somewhere in the middle, in between there. Both teams practice out of Meridian YMCA for swimmers. And we send our divers to Plainville. The girls team usually has between 3 and 5 divers. Guys team usually has between 1 and 4 divers, depending on the year. In addition, for our home meets, we go to either Plainville, Maloney, or Plaque, depending on who's willing to host us, and pay rental there. Well, I think I answered all the questions, but I'm not sure. If you have others, I can answer whatever you want.
No, my follow-up was a dive team.
Okay.
You covered it, so I'm good. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, they're part of the team. So I won't lie, as a coach, it is a challenge to maintain that unity as a team when you're going to 2 different places. I know Coach Sikorsky regularly flies from practice to a meet and to another meet, trying to accommodate the different schools and different locations, including going to meets at alternative locations to coach the diving portion when that's doable, when they find a board. One thing I wanted to throw out there, just since the last time we met, that I was thinking about, like I said, we practice at the Meridian YMCA right now. We work with some great people, but there are some challenges that we have to work around. With one pool to share for members, for lessons, for aqua aerobics, etc. Again, we've got great experience with people working with us. I was on the phone with Kathy Lewis from the YMCA yesterday, trying to figure out with the weather, trying to sneak us in to get time in the pool on Saturday, heading into championship season, knowing that our meet tomorrow will probably be canceled and get moved to next week. Now it's canceled. But there's the challenge of serving 2 purposes there. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is I know in our design conversations, talked about having 2 pools, one a competition pool and one a therapy pool. And just in those conversations, I want to stress the importance of that, the value of that, to be able to serve multiple parts of the community in and serve multiple types of programming at the same time, without having to make that trade-off. That
Okay, thank you.
Chairman, I have a question.
Sure.
Dan, the Berlin Dolphins program, one that's, that was called one.
Yeah, so the Berlin Dolphins program is run during the summer. It's Parks and Rec program run out of Percival Pool. They usually run practice in the morning and in the afternoons. I'm glad you brought this up because I had a thought about that too. They haven't been able to run that the last 2 years. One because of COVID, and one because of staffing issues. Being able to have a facility in town that runs all year round, well, it does present the challenge of having lifeguards on duty throughout the course of the year. It also opens up opportunities for lifeguard training programs. WSI, which is water safety instruction through the Red Cross right now. The nearest place you can go is New York State in the next 3 months. I know because my athletes have been looking for one. You're required to do that. You're required to have those certifications to teach a Red Cross certified instruction or swim lesson. There are other programs that do it. I know the YMCA runs their own certification process outside of Red Cross. But I bring it up because having our own facility with our own lifeguards throughout the course of the year, to be able to run those kind of training programs, kind of create a self-sustaining cycle. So you're not worried about that kind of staffing over the course of the year.
In your estimation before COVID, how many people will be involved?
Okay, I know this because I used to do all the entries for the championships. For the older kids, the 13 and over, the seniors, you'd usually be looking at 25-ish. For the younger kids, it varied a little bit more, but it was usually a lot higher. Talking about 50. Yeah. Not all at every meet, but getting experience and getting to get used to the sport and get excited about the sport. Thank you so much.
For there, yes.
Yeah, she was. Absolutely great. Thank you.
Phyllis Norton, 36 Steepleview Drive, Kensington. I'm here actually representing the senior citizens because I am one. I applaud all of the efforts of the swim team, but at this juncture of my life and my husband's, I'm looking forward to a facility in town that will meet the needs of not only high school kids, but young kids, but also us senior citizens as well. Currently, I'll be honest with you, I go out of town for activities to a facility that has a pool, a lap pool, it has a hot tub, it has an exercise, it has classes for senior citizens, again, me, that just offers it all. And I'm looking forward to, after being in my husband and I lived here almost 30 years now, to having a facility where we don't have to leave town. I want to stay here and enjoy this town now that we're using the term empty nesters, but we are, and enjoying this town and all it has to offer. And I think a community center / senior center is the way to go. We've been planning this and I hope that it happens during my lifetime. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? What facility are you using now?
The Willard Regional YMCA in Plainville.
Okay, thank you.
My kids actually took swim lessons all the way. They were in 30s and 20s, out of state now, but we know that one.
Yeah, it's a really nice
You know,
facility.
and that's where we went back to because we grew up with the kids there too.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, excuse me, is anybody else? Okay, we'll end the audience of citizens and we'll move on to the approval of our minutes from February 3rd. Anybody has any questions about that? Changes?
Yeah, it includes all the Kevin's back things.
I know I'm trying to get through that quickly now. all right.
Took me a couple hours.
I was gonna say, I haven't had a chance to do it.
It was a very narrative.
Okay.
meeting.
Do you want me to make a motion to accept and then we can discuss, or you want to just?
Just,
Okay, so-
tell us your
I'm not
changes,
sure
we'll make a
what
motion
it is,
to.
but, It's the paragraph that says Ms. Beauvais said if the community wants to invest in the senior, this is when Kevin was talking.
Okay.
It doesn't have page numbers.
Like what number?
I don't know, they're probably all mixed up now.
Presentation number 6, presentation discussed on Kevin Delaney. Ms.
Oh.
Bova asked for his.
See this page, deauthorize is the first word on the page.
It's like page 5. Oh, sorry.
You're gonna have to go back to
Sorry,
the.
I had that up.
minutes anyway, but, Okay, you're there. I guess it's the second full paragraph, so, where it says Ms. Bovee said, the community wants to invest. This is when I was talking with Kevin, or asking Kevin, okay, but you'd have to tell the story behind it in order to fund it. This is to go to the rating agencies. And, in the 40 million investment by itself, just like this says, wouldn't bring down the rating, but you'd have to tell the story behind it in order to fund it. And then I believe I asked, and again, you can check the minute or check the video. Is it your professional opinion to Kevin that it would bring down the rating? And he said, no, that's correct. You would have to tell the story. As long as we tell the story behind it and we get them comfortable with what we're trying to do, it would not bring down the rating by itself. And that's the part that I don't see in here, so.
I might, Mr. Chairman, when you're ready.
I'm sorry?
So that's good.
Well, if you look at the paragraph right above it, I asked, it starts with Mr. Seer asked, I specifically asked Mr. Delaney that question.
Yeah.
Second sentence says, Vice Director Delaney said, absolutely, that's with respect to a downgrade if we don't have a good response. That was exactly what he said, so, a good
Right, and
response,
that's why I clarified
Right.
it
a
after.
good response is,
Yeah.
Lord, what's a good response? And it's subjective, and it's open to
Right, in his
interpretation.
professional opinion, that's
That's
what
what
I
he said,
actually
so-
asked.
So it could lead to a downgrade, it might not, depends how they interpret that good response.
That's correct.
Okay.
But all I want is my asking in his professional opinion, would you believe, and again, you can go to the video and check the wording and put the wording in there in his response. That's what I'm asking.
Okay. As noted, I will look for approval for the mini minutes as amended by Donna's comments. If there's anything.
Subject to the review. Okay, make the motion to accept the minutes, subject to the review of the section that I discussed.
Second that motion, sir.
And we all know too, all meeting minutes are not exact word by word, as far as I know, right? Most of them are, so it's probably out, like you said, it's probably in tape, but as long as we
Yeah,
know
it
that
depends
it.
how we're gonna summarize
Yeah, I mean,
everything. for the
technically,
public.
the responsibility of the minutes is to make down motions.
Yep.
That's
Got
really it, that's the only requirement.
Okay. So as you know, and for everybody's memory, one part, I'm sorry, oh, I'm sorry. All in favor? Sorry, thanks, Dave. Just want to get these people up here and out of here at a good time. Thing I wanted to say is that we all know that one of the charges was just let's go out there, get some information, and also explore other options. And on our list was to go out, visit some wives and bring in the Berlin, Meridian, and Britain wine. So we had sent them a list of questions, and they were very thorough, and we looked for some more time to come here today and be prepared. So with that being said, I'll introduce the people here from the Y. You come up here and give us your name and let you have at it. Yes, we want to sit down.
Like right here. It's like the seat is like happening right now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Murphy. I'm the CEO of the Meridian Facility YMCA. We had a merger about 4 years ago with the Greater Berlin YMCA, and we became one entity, one association. I'm familiar with swimming. I have 2 all-state swimmers myself. What a great sport, awesome. I'm a lifelong Meridian resident, parent of 4. I've seen the quality that the Y brings to my family, and the services that are there. And we just wanted to share what the Y would potentially look like, some of the services that could be rendered here in Berlin, and give you guys some options there. So I'm going to introduce Don Rittman, Vice President of our Board of Directors.
Good evening, I'm Don Rittman. I'm a resident of Berlin. I live on 250 Hillside Road in Berlin. And I've been associated with the Y for over 30 years. I've been the president, vice president. My whole family lives here in town. We support the Y. My kids have all worked at the Y. We have 4 children that went through the Y system. One was a lifeguard, the others worked at child care. I'm not a big swimmer myself, but I know that this town has been looking for some kind of a pool for a long time. And as part of the Y, we're trying to accomplish that in conjunction with the town as the most cost-effective way we can. And my father-in-law was actually Joe Scheid, and he was actually a town assessor at one point. So our family's been associated with the town of Berlin for a long, long time. And I hope that you give these 2 gentlemen a lot of consideration for what we would like to achieve. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Steve Marcoya. I'm the operations director at the YMCA. I think it's a theme here tonight. Everyone's a swimmer. My 2 kids are active swimmers. They swim on the SEAL swim team year round. Short course season, long course season. We travel quite a bit. I understand the effort and time of commitment that goes into it. We're getting ready to have regionals and age groups and nationals. So it's a commitment, and I applaud you guys for what you guys do. I mean, I know the commitment that goes into it. Long hours. Just to tell you a little bit about the YMCA and what we're about, what we do. We're obviously we serve the Meridian, Britain, and Berlin communities. We're the 3rd largest YMCA in the state of Connecticut. We have about a $16 million operating budget. We employ over 500 employees, and we, being the largest child care provider in the state, we serve about 1,400 children on a daily basis, from 6 weeks old through 5th grade. It's about 10, 11 years old. About 1,400 kids in there. We provide them with breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack. Infants, we provide formula, part of the CICFP food program. Again, we operate out of 19 elementary schools across our association for before and after school. We have 12 early child care sites. NAG accredited some of them, grant funded, non-grant funded. But really our connection is with the community. We want to be there as a community member. We want to be there to support community efforts. We want to be a great community partner. Our footprint here in Berlin is starting to grow a little bit more. We're doing more. We have 2 day camps. We have a day camp in Meridian, Mist. We also have a day camp that we run at Willard. Like I said, we're in 3 of your after school, your elementary schools. We partner with the Transitional Academy, where they actually utilize the Y in the pool currently. So again, our footprint is growing. We talked about lifeguards and lifeguard training and CPR and first aid. We actually won an award last year for the amount of certifications we were able to do through the Red Cross. So that was very exciting for us through this time and being able to provide what we do. We're all in need of lifeguards. The more people we can certify and get out of pool deck is important. And like I said, we're excited to be here. We're thankful for the opportunity, and we want John's going to come back up and kind of talk about our YMCA and some of the things that we're doing there as well.
So I don't know if you can see this or not, but we'll make it up as I go here. This is the Meridian Facility. I think the committee had an opportunity, or at least some of you on the committee had an opportunity to take a tour. If you go down to this is right from the design and builder. The facility was put into a small footprint, inner city footprint. So some of the rooms and different things that you see doesn't necessarily have to be what you would build here in Berlin, but it symbolizes what the space would be used for. I wanted to go over what those spaces would be and what they could be potentially used for. So that's the outside of the building, the 2-story building, fully handicap accessible, all that good stuff. So we don't really hide it. The front door is right there. Steve's going to be my human pointer here. To the left there, that stop sign looking like room, we call that the Octagon Room, but it's really our community room. It's prior to you entering the Y. So therefore it can be used for anything from potentially registration for Little League. It could be, Steve mentioned about our first aid and CPR classes, those are offered in there. We've had neighborhood association meetings in there, condo association meetings, etc. Totally free, come in, use the space. It's named the community room for that purpose, for the community to be able to use it. We don't hide the pool. As soon as you walk in, there's windows all over the place in the front lobby there to see the pool. It is a 6-lane pool. It does not have a diving board. I wouldn't propose to do that, to tell you the truth. Like I said, I have a swimming background myself. The minimum is 6 lanes. There's no question. I mean, 8 is always better, but 6 lanes, I think you still can do it. I mean, Platinum Maloney are 6 lanes. We're running some meets there of some size, no question about it. I think our last meet at Maloney, now this is over a weekend, we hosted over 280 swimmers. So I mean, coming in and out of the Maloney pool, now it was over 2 days. That, in fairness, it had to be that way. Aqua aerobics in that pool. I will, full disclosure, I don't want anything. Balancing one pool is a dilemma at times. There's no question there's ups and downs to that because swimmers want a cooler pool. Aqua aerobics wants a warmer pool. But I can tell you right now, our biggest program for seniors is aqua aerobics in that pool. So our largest senior program is aqua aerobics, and we still have 90 kids on our swim team, Berlin, both Berlin High School, for women's and men's team swims there and practice there. It does not have a diving well. It's only 7 feet deep, and it's clearly not big enough to host deep because it does not have proper amount of space for seating. But that's the pool anyways. As you go down, you're going to see some administrative offices, front desk area here. Those are administrative office, bathrooms right off the hallway. We love little gathering places at the Y. We have some bistro tables, different things like that. Part of the community aspect of the Y is people gathering, getting together, socializing, all those things that go along with it. I will tell you that I probably have many members that are coming to the Y just to socialize than they are to even work out. They want that camaraderie, they want to be around people, they want to feel part of something. So it really does give you that aspect, and there is that little lobby area that certainly serves that way. As you move further down, you're going to walk, you can see our child watch room, which is right down here. Child watch is why you work out. Parents are working out, they can put their children, youngsters in child watch. Totally included in your membership. And you can go upstairs and work out. You're on site at all times. You can't leave the building, nothing like that. They're self-contained. There's cutest little toilets you've ever seen in there. And it's open, there's a 9 to 12 in the morning and then 4 to 8 in the evening. And we offer child watch. If I was building a Y here in Berlin, I would build my child watch room smaller than what it is currently here in Meridian. Just full disclosure, I think it's slightly oversized. But then again, I inherited that building, so I don't have much say in the design of it, but we are proud of it. Further down, you're going to go into the track. The gym. The gym is one of the things we've added in the gym is pickleball. It's a growing sport. You'd be remiss if you're putting a gym and you don't put pickleball in. I think you're missing an opportunity. But it does divide in half. It has volleyball, basketball. We play futsal in there, indoor soccer. I mean, you name it, we put it in there. We have portable mounds where you can pitch for baseball. It's one full-size gym though, currently that sits in Meridian. It does have a divider where you can go sideways. You can divide it into two 2 gyms. But it really is a high school sized gymnasium court. Above it is a suspended track, and we'll get there when we get to the 2nd floor. But as you go down, we have a women's locker room. And then we also have a girls' locker room. And then same thing for men and for the boys. They both have saunas in there, in the adult side of it, women's and men's. They have a dry sauna, and they all connect you back into the pool. So you can go in there, change, go to the pool area. You're not dragging, wetness and all over the place, or you can go there, change, go upstairs to the fitness center, go shoot baskets, etc. And then the unique thing down the end, it's not that unique anymore, more and more wives have it, but we're certainly glad we have it, is your family locker rooms. Those are self-contained toilet, shower, facilities right there, so that if you had 2 youngsters, a boy and a girl, you could take them there and have a full facility locker room situation. Going upstairs here, or staying downstairs, there's 2 racquetball courts. I don't want to upset racquetball enthusiasts, but I think the sport is getting less and less. It's a lot of square footage for a maximum of 4 people to play. It's 2-story high square footage. It's a great sport. I'm not casting any dispersions on it. I think it's a great sport. I like it even myself. Don is actually better than me at it, but I do like it. But it takes up a lot of space. And like I said, it gets limited use. We have not changed them. They're still racquetball courts. We didn't try to put anything else in there, retrofit them. They're beautiful racquetball courts, glass front, the whole 9 yards. But they get limited use and a large square footage footprint. Now we're going upstairs. Steve's pointing up where we go upstairs here. You can see the top of the racquetball courts. They hold no value. It's actually a brick wall up there, but you can see where that could be a whole nother story of rooms or locations. The first room I'm going to point out to you is a multi-purpose room, but it's really on the print it's our fitness center. It has a wood floor in it that's made for fitness center, so it has a little compression, has a little give when you're doing aerobic activities, offering 25 different aerobics class per week in that facility, in that center there. We also use it for dance classes for little ones. It gets a magnitude of use. Further down from there is our multi-purpose room. On the original print here that I got, they're flip-flopped. Multi-purpose room is more of a tiled floor. Doesn't have that wood floor. It's meant for basically meetings. We do karate out of there. A retired wise men group of like 90 that come in and they play cards. They have presentations, different things like that happen in that room. We also host birthday parties, that kind of stuff. All that would be on that type of floor. It's not meant for necessarily hardcore athletics. It's meant to be a multi-purpose room and have a lot of flexibility. Then moving further down, we're going to get to our fitness center. Our fitness center does stretch over that stop sign too. And, actually we carved out a little space here. It's not shown because we did that. And we have a spinning studio in there. But it has enough to get a good workout in, but it doesn't have 25 treadmills. You're talking 5 to 10 treadmills. So it has everything you need to get a workout in, but it's not in competition or not meant to be in competition with your big box Planet Fitnesses, etc. Things like that. So, but I know Don works out there pretty much every morning. And like I said, you're capable of definitely getting a workout. Off-site of this is we have a 66-acre day camp. What I would be proposing in Berlin, what I would like to see is I'd like to see some field space. I think there's an opportunity for more field space and a lot of things you can do in this community with additional fields. And I think it would add to the whole YMCA experience. Like I said, this is built in downtown Meridian. There was no field space, nothing that you could do there, but a playscape, field space, maybe even some running, jogging tracks, stuff that you can do outside too. to really make it not only an indoor, but also an outdoor experience. I mean, everyone today was freezing cold, but yesterday, I wanted to be outside as much as I possibly could be because it was absolutely gorgeous. So even yesterday, I would see people potentially using something like that. So that's my presentation. I will say this on the questions that you previously gave me. Some of them are a little premature in my opinion. I did the best I could. Some I will certainly get back. I think all the questions, if it were chosen to do a YMCA, all the questions would be answered. Let me start there. But at this point, I mean, I did the best I could to answer those questions. We sat down for a couple hours, each of us together, and try to go through those to the best of our ability. So I apologize if some are to be determined and stuff like that. And then I'm available for any questions you may have. That's my presentation.
This is the Meridian Facility. What you would build in Berlin would be more or less geared for the Berlin community.
Yes, I would.
I know, I went on the tour and it was great because you were saying, well, this was built in '96 and we should have done this, we should have done that. So you can bring that.
Yeah, I'm not proposing to mirror the image of this facility. Would I bring this as a sample of what the rooms would be? I think a child watch room being smaller in Berlin would be better. I'm not so sure about racquetball courts. Let's hear from the community. I don't think they're necessary. I'm hearing loud and clear from my swimming friends that 8 lanes, maybe somewhere where you want to go. A diving well is definitely needed. Stands for seating so that when you host a meet, you're able to have families and friends come see you. All those things are important to swimmers, and I recognize that.
This building, how many square feet?
33,000.
So
Slightly over. 33.9.
So we'd be in the 30,000 square foot.
Yep, I would say. You eliminated those racquetball courts. And then added some additional swim space would be.
The therapy pool, what are your thoughts about, I realize in Meriden, you use your current pool for water aerobics.
Yeah, you're capable of doing it. If money's no issue, I can't compete with what the committee came up with on your plans currently. You know what I mean? We're not talking the same, even in the same ballgame. But what I can say is that I know that a pool like what we have in Meriden, with additional space for stands, with a diving well, could serve this community well.
And what temperature do you keep the competitive pool at?
Steve would know better than me.
So that's about 83 degrees for pool at 83, maybe 83.5 at the most.
Low 80s?
Yeah, low 80s.
And for swim meets, I thought, well, again, I realized you don't have the competition there. You go to Platt. Do you know what Platt keeps their pool at for competition?
I would say it's a similar temperature.
Really? Because I've heard it's supposed to be, normally cooler than 84.
They keep playing at 80 degrees.
80 degrees,
81.
80, 81.
It's still around 80?
I wouldn't be surprised if Platt is cooler than the Meriden White pool. That wouldn't shock me at all. I don't think though that it's 90 compared to 80, if you know what I mean. It's within a few degree difference.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So John, thank you for your presentation, and this is the first time all of us are probably seeing your responses. And I know we threw a lot at you, but you've reached out in the last couple of years. The Britain Berlin Meridian Y seems interested in coming to Berlin, right?
Absolutely.
You think there would be, you would be able to put something in Berlin? You think you'd be able to have people here support it?
I think just like I think there's a need for a space like the YMCA in Berlin, and I would love to be part of that. So yes.
There was a question about saturation, and I think your answer is to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you this. My predecessor at the New Britain Y did a study that I did see that said that it could work in the town of Berlin. Since then, we haven't done that study since.
How old is that study?
It's been 4 years since I became CEO. and
Some
merged,
time
so
before
it had to
that, yeah.
be 6, 7 years ago. But they did do a study that said that, the population could support a YMCA. It's not it's, the cost of lifeguards and electric and all those type of things, the population of 20,000 people is, it wasn't out of the charts. I think there might be some Ys that looked at other locations and wanted to be even larger, but it was better than break even. And at this point, we would be positioned still to do that if we could break even on a situation like here in Berlin, because honestly, I believe every community deserves a great Y.
But it's certainly gotta be easier to break even with a 30,000 square foot facility than a 70,000.
Certainly, yes, no question about it. And done in the capacity that affords that. I know that you've been waiting, so I don't.
I don't want you to.
Okay, sorry, keep going, Gordon.
I just wanted to ask, how do you handle your programs for the seniors? I mean, we have many programs here, and I did not hear you mention a lot of programs for the seniors.
And I should have, and I apologize to you. Let me back up and give you some. I will tell you that our facility during the day is an extension of the senior center in Meridian, this facility here. My mom's a senior. She's down the Y on 3-4 days a week. I will say it's so some of our seniors that go through the Y, they don't consider themselves seniors because they go to the Y, but they're still going. And we offer a program through Assurance Silver Sneakers, and it's basically a reimbursement for your membership. And we did analysis in this. We did do analysis. In the town of Berlin, 50% of the seniors would be eligible for that silver sneakers or a subsidized membership, which makes it totally free to join the Y. You're currently eligible if you'd like to even come to Meriden or New Britain and get that same benefit. But I certainly know if we build something in the town of Berlin, that we hopefully would happen for those seniors to do it. So with that said, in Meriden, we have chair aerobics. We have all they're called silver sneaker programs, aerobics programs. Aqua aerobics I talked about being one of our largest programs. That's primarily dominated during the day by seniors. I would say that we are very senior oriented Monday through Friday up until about 3 o'clock.
If you didn't have the silver sneakers, how would you subsidize that?
Well, the seniors always, even when we didn't have it, always had a discounted membership because they were seniors. And I want to put this out there too. No one at the Y is turned away for inability. That's our mission. That's what we do. No one at the Y again will be turned away for inability pay. You may have to demonstrate your need to us, but no one at the Y will be turned away for inability pay. And that has to come from even, donors, et cetera, things like that. We're purposely raising money for that purpose so that we can say we're not going to turn anyone away for inability pay. So if a senior really truly didn't have it, demonstrated the, we would make certain, regardless of silver sneakers or not, that they come to the Y for whatever we agree upon is a affordable.
Would the membership be by year or monthly? How would they do that?
We want members that want to be members. So there's no trap at the Y. There's no annual 12-month contract. You can cancel at any time. It takes 30 days to cancel your membership at the Y. And the reason why is because it's bank drafting, and that's how long it takes to get to the bank, assure that it comes, stopped and all that. So it takes 30 days. You can cancel at any time and you can rejoin it.
John, you said you felt that this was an extension of the senior center. Does that mean you reach out and you coordinate your programs with them, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely familiar with the senior center in Meriden and trying to coordinate the best that we possibly can. To tell you the truth, I think the senior population of Meriden is big enough where it can serve both. One of the biggest things at the senior center is the lunch program, to tell you the truth. We don't touch lunch here at the Y. I'm not saying that the Y totally replaces a senior center. I'm saying the Y could be an extension to it and can further serve that population as well as youth, as well as swim teams, et cetera.
So based on the statement of need for the seniors that you're seeing for Berlin, and how it works in most towns, and I agree with you. I see every town that has a Y the town runs a separate senior center. Because there are different needs, like our seniors, there are vans that take them shopping, take them to medical appointments. Would those, what you're saying is the town would still need to run a senior center for some of or all of the activities that it does.
Really, what I'm saying at this time is that's a town decision, you know what I mean? Like, but it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be something that
That's what I
we're
want to
planning
know.
on
Right.
providing,
Can
yes.
you do everything that our senior center does now, plus, because you can offer more, you have the pool and everything, but can you do everything that we have
No.
needs for in our town?
No, I mean, we're not at this facility, and whatever we're proposing here in Berlin doesn't have a kitchen for lunch programs. I'm not familiar with all the senior programs that currently take place in Berlin, but I would answer that question, no. But I know that there's a lot of additional programs that could become available with the addition of the Y two.
Thank you.
If
It
they're
would be a
separate,
supplement.
Absolutely a supplement to the senior center.
so who would schedule, if they're separate, who would schedule the activities at the senior center?
At the senior center,
Yeah, if you're saying they're separate, you don't deal with that.
I would imagine whoever's directing the senior center. If it was a separate location, whoever's directing the senior center, we would schedule the programs and services that are being offered at the Y in conjunction with them. I mean, I know that, for instance, lunch is a big deal in Meriden. A lot of seniors attend that. You know, probably not the best time to have an aqua ropes class then, because part of your senior population is enjoying the lunch. So we would work off of those schedules so that it affords seniors more opportunities and less conflicts in time.
Do you have people that work separate with the seniors, with the people that have to schedule the senior program?
Separate. We have some senior, actually through Silver Sneakers, they have to be trained to do the senior programming. So we do have that. The schedule is pretty much done by one health and wellness director I have. And she oversees all of our health and wellness in our Meriden branch, and works with Steve, our operations director, and comes up with a schedule and the schedule rotates. I mean, there's times of years where, times throughout the year where the winter is more dominated with more programs. The summer, we also have a beautiful outdoor center day camp. It's included in the membership. I have senior activities even going on up there. A big pool.
Do you have health programs like we have the foot care, the blood pressure, health programs for the seniors? Do you have things like that?
The only program that we currently have is cardiac rehab. That would be similar to that. And blood pressure screening.
I think that you answered
Thank you.
most of the questions I have now.
And I'm willing to take even more questions from the committee. I'm willing to come back. I'm willing to, I know that the questions I just answered, and as time goes on, if there's more, more opportunities. Like I said, every question you asked, I could understand why it was on there. Just some, at this time, it's to be determined. It's a little premature.
Okay, thanks. Financials. So if we go, it says online guide stars.
It's on GuideStar's public record of our financials.
So
It'll have 4 years worth of our financials on GuideStar, it's called. I can also, I can send a copy of our latest audit too, if you want.
that would be helpful.
No problem.
But we can go online as well.
Yep.
I think what you said was, hopefully break even for Berlin. That would be what, obviously you want to be able to do. How has Meridian done? And I realize with COVID, it might not have done as well, or maybe it did. But even pre-COVID, did you break even? Do you lose money? Tax-wise, I know you're filing taxes.
Yeah, I think our pre-COVID, during COVID, we lost money, and then this year in 2020 we lost money. In 2021, when we started getting all the government funded programs and such, we turned it, we flipped that. But on an average year, we're coming in just about balanced as an association.
And that's really all three
And
towns.
that's all three towns.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily, when I say, and we're pretty much breaking even there. I mean, we've had surpluses on a $16 million budget of 200,000. We've also had deficits of 200,000. But when you take into consideration the $16 million budget, you're trying to get it to exactly zero. That's a challenge, you know, so it does have that. But as an association, yes. I think that what I'm saying is if we build a Y here, I want Berlin to, as an association, for us to remain that viable Y. That's fully funding depreciation too, for finance experts in there. So there is some in there.
And other than grants and philanthropy and donations, which the Y does a good job with, the rest is funded by fees.
Mhm.
And the fees, over a period of time, you would try and recover the cost of the building. Right?
Yeah,
Just like
yeah, I mean, you would, I mean, I think at first you would try to limit the cost of the building to the best of your ability with fundraising. So try to raise as much funds as you possibly could. And then, you know, you potentially would have to maybe mortgage a portion of that building and go from there. But then over a course of time, my new budget would take in consideration the cost of the building, the mortgage on there, and need to raise those necessary funds to cover that cost on a monthly and annual basis for the term of the loan.
And fundraising, you had mentioned to us, is all local.
It was in a lot of those questions, all local, and I may have been misunderstood about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's all local. I think that we've had more success with some of your local foundations and such, but certainly not all local. So I would not limit ourselves just to the three communities of Meridian, New Britain, and Berlin at all. I think there is opportunities beyond that.
Yeah, please, if you would, if you were to come to Berlin, would the Meridian facility and the Britain facility remain open?
Yes, yes. Like I said, yes, definitely. I mean, when we, just to give you for instance, I mean, when I took over Meridian, it was not in the greatest of shape either, and we were able to rectify that really quickly and get it going in the right direction. And like I said, my board and myself truly believes that every community deserves a great YMCA experience, and every community can have a Y and support a Y. With that said, then we merged with New Britain, and there was a lot of fears of, oh, they're going to come in and just potentially close that facility. Wasn't doing all that well, but we persevered. I'm proud to say that financially we're strong, and it's no longer in the red, it's in black.
The New Britain facility is an older facility.
Yeah, it's about 90,000 square feet of facility too. It's not only older, it's big. We've done some modifications there. We're currently looking into repurposing some space there. We have 8 racquetball courts, so we may be doing something with those. We're a big childcare YMCA. As an association, like Steve outlined, the largest early childhood provider in the state of Connecticut. So we're looking into how do we repurpose our space to, better suit the community that we serve.
John, one quick question about the feasibility study you say here. How long does it usually take?
Like I said, I think it would be to be determined a little bit. I think I maybe put on there a year at the most. Depends on the level of the feasibility study that we wanted to go to, what the property looks like, what kind of building equipment we're going to use, all that kind of stuff is going to factor into that. I mean, a study to see if the community would support a Y would be 4 or 5 months type of thing. So I don't know what level of feasibility study, the actual feasibility to build a building on this site, or if you're just talking, is it feasible for the Y to sustain with the community? The timing would be different. No.
It would, if we're asking for building, obviously.
Yeah.
When would you start one of those things? We enter into a contract with you before that?
Yeah, no, I would say when we decide that we wanted to go for a Y or we have more commitment than what we currently have. I was just told to come and talk to you about the Y, tell you some of the things the Y could do, and then see where this takes us.
What would your timeframe be if you reached an agreement with the town? Let's say from the point you reach agreement with the town till the time you put a shovel in the ground, a rough, and I mean, I'm not holding you to it.
I know I'm on the record here, so you know, this is
Somebody's
being
gonna ask.
recorded.
Somebody's gonna ask you, so-
Someone's gonna ask you, yeah. You know, I'll give you the fairest answer I possibly can. I think we said the soonest would be like a year and a half. You know what I mean? That would be the soonest I could see a shovel in the ground.
That's fair.
Okay, like I said, would be the soonest.
And because that includes fundraising, I mean, you put that in your.
But you also-
That includes fundraising, makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
Childcare.
Absolutely. Nothing.
Good. Childcare, so in Berlin, I know you run a childcare at Willard School. Is that right?
We run a day camp at Willard School. We run a before and after school program at Willard School.
At where?
At Willard School too.
At Willard,
Yes,
and you run the day camp during the summer.
and a day camp during the summer.
Right, and just previous financials that I've looked for wise, you know, the money is made in childcare for a lot of it, it helps, right? So in one of the questions we asked about how it works with our swim team and childcare, and there's a reciprocal agreement. So our swim teams don't pay the Y currently for use of your pools, and I assume the same goes for the Meridian school system, we don't pay them for that. And you don't pay the town for childcare at Willard then? Is that a reciprocal agreement,
Correct.
including the camp, the summer camp?
No, we do pay for field usage and building usage at the camp.
For the camp?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So those monies right now are help funding Meriden and the New Britain Y. You know, if money is being made in Berlin for childcare, and that rightly so, you guys are running it, the money goes back there. So when Berlin has its Y, if we move forward with the Y, will there be additional childcare that you foresee? Or I'm trying to understand how Berlin Y can be favorably impacted for fees to keep the membership fees down.
There's potential. I mean, the community dictates the direction we'll go. I mean, we are planning more additional childcare slots as we speak. If those fill up in the community, with a waiting list, I mean, we're here to serve the community. The community is going to dictate to us what services that are needed in this community. So to answer your question, I mean, if there's a need, that's what we did in Meridian, that's what we've done in even in Britain. If there's a need for more childcare, I feel the direction of my board that we have a say.
Can I say something about that before this trip? One of the things that you should consider is we're one Y and we're in 3 towns. So if Berlin needs to be shored up by some of our other daycare proceeds, that money's going to come from Meriden and New Britain or wherever we have our facilities. So it's not just Berlin that's funding this, it's a joint effort. And that's something that we had to accomplish as a board when we merged with Berlin and New Britain. And it took a lot of time to get the board members, because we had a New Britain board, we had a Meridian board, and we had people from Berlin. And one of the commitments that we made as a board was to try to do something, when we merged, they were looking for us to make a commitment to try to build something here in Berlin. And I just want you to know that all the money is one big pool. And over the last 4 years that we've merged, everybody's come together. So we have board members from New Britain, Berlin, and Meriden all on our board of directors. It's not just Meriden, it's not just New Britain. Thank you.
I think
And are the membership fees all the same for all the 3, or all the 2 facilities, and then it will be the same for Berlin?
They're very similar, because we merged 4 years ago and they were two established YMCA's. Some of the fees, some of the categories we didn't even have in Meriden or they didn't have in New Britain. So we didn't want to pull the rug out from underneath anyone and still be as inclusive as we can. But over the last 4 years, we've worked very diligently to try to narrow those categories down and have symmetry across the association in fees.
So the fees are the same in those same, or they're different? I'm just.
They're different, but we certainly made inroads to make them very similar. What happened is
Right.
upon merging, there was some fees or some categories that were being offered in one community and not the other. And we didn't want to, pull the rug out from underneath anyone. I know, Jen, you had a question, and then I think we'll wrap it up.
Are you guys familiar with the Patterson Way property, which is the property that was discussed by the PBC and the architect as being a good, are you guys familiar with that property?
Familiar with it to the point where I know where it is.
Okay.
I walked it. I've been, I think I might have even took some photos, but beyond that, no.
Okay. Just curious.
I have one more quick
Okay.
question. You pool the nursery and the children and those programs together. How would that work with the senior program? Would they be pooled together also, or would they have to go to a different Y for a different, depending on how you do the programs?
No, the senior programs would be offered in all three communities at all three YMCA's. There may be staff that are doing some aerobics classes in Meriden and also in Berlin and also in New Britain. We are, like you said, one association. But no, you would be able to, if you wanted to go to Meriden to get, because you just love that aqua aerobics class and you love that instructor and you wanted to do 2 in 1 day and she was cool. You're more than welcome to attend there too. I just want to close with the thank you to the committee first and foremost for giving us an opportunity. I mean, this is my life. This is what I do. I love the why. I love what it stands for. Like I said, we're here to serve. We're here to give back to the community. We want to do great things in each of our communities. And I just want to thank you all for the opportunity. And I want to just let you know once again, the why. I really want to stress this point more and more. No one will be turned away for inability. And I want to be very clear on that. So I appreciate everyone's time. Best of luck to the Berlin swim team. I know you guys have been practicing hard at the Meridian Y, so best of luck to you. And thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for coming tonight and trying to your best effort to get us some information. And if we have any questions, we'll certainly reach out.
Thank you.
Great. I know we all have a meeting next week. Just to lead this next agenda item for open discussion. Things are on my mind are thinking about how we can start pulling this together. We discussed last meeting, trying to get some kind of a report to the town council. I have one gentleman here, Mr. Thurston, mentioned visiting another place. I don't know if we really have time. I'm sure we can maybe search online, try to get some pictures, get an idea. We've been to a couple Ys, we've been to some newer facilities. And I think, we have this conceptual plan. So those are my thoughts on how we can start pulling this together. I have some thoughts to write them down, but and that's something we can start talking about here tonight so that we can start pulling together and figure out how to do that starting next week.
Yeah, we can put together a PowerPoint presentation for what you guys want to do to council, but the information that's going in that PowerPoint needs to come from you guys.
Yeah.
Whether it's you bring it, send it out at the agenda package, you all approve it, and then I take it and put it into the PowerPoint. So that's what we need to really start focusing on if you really want to make that April deadline.
We have visits, we have our notes, we had a financial discussion last week. I don't know if there's anything else we want to get from Kevin. But I think we want to try and keep it simple, show people the charges we were given, what we looked at, some of the thoughts that we had visiting each site. Done.
I talked to Brendan about reaching out, and I got later today from VAD, the cost that the swim team incurs for us just to have for potential offset savings. And Brendan also asked that, we asked Jen and the town staff to put together some operating budget that we can take a look at if we were going to move ahead?
Yeah, we've started, we've put together a list of potential staffing, we put together a list of equipment. It's very, very time consuming to actually put costs next to that. I'm not sure how we would be able to do some of that. We have no idea what a giant scoreboard and timing system for a pool would cost. It's something you'd have to repeat with, a vendor. They don't just email you that cost. So there's a lot of those costs we just don't know. But we do have a very thorough list, at least for the community center and Parks and Recreation, of a list of equipment and potential staffing. I'm still trying to work on the senior centers. Tina's been out for a few weeks, so I'm trying to not bother her at home and try to come up with it, but I'm going to reach out to her this weekend and see if she can help me finalize. Like I said, having actual costs associated with everything is going to be extremely difficult, but we do have the itemized list of equipment that we don't think of and potential staffing. Who would be union positions and who would be considered part-time positions.
I have a question. Would we be able to get the usage of the existing senior center? I know they have a badge swipe system. They've had it for several years. And I'm just curious, how many people use that a day? So I'd like to see some numbers on that.
Yeah, Barbara even has brought that up at a meeting. I think she has that information already, actually.
Yes, we would get, we have a list of people and we have to sign in every time we go.
Right.
So we know who's there and who's not there and how many people are using the building. And,
Yeah.
and the different programs.
And it doesn't, it counts each individual visit. So if Barbara comes at 9 o'clock for a program, she's gonna swipe. If she comes back at 2 o'clock for a program, she's gonna swipe. So I believe that's gonna count as a 2. That's gonna put the number up to 2, not just Barbara coming back twice, but actually 2 visits to see, it counts visits.
So it'll be a little more complicated to break it down to how many people actually use it.
We have, based on how many people are registered for my senior center, we have a list of, here's our membership. And then we can come up with a list of how many people visit the senior center.
I think in one of our early meetings, Barbara brought some statistics about the number of visits that are made to the senior center.
Yeah, Debbie came up with something a couple months ago for the community centers, how many people visit each day, so.
Just to make the track.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dan.
Mr. Chairman, after our last meeting, I thought about this report that we have to give to town council. And I said, well, I'll make a table of contents, what topics should be in there. And I started that, and then I kept going and going and going. And I'm going to give you each a copy. Tim, you could grab one.
Sure.
And pass it down, and it's a rough draft of what I thought possibly the report could contain. Certainly, it needs modifications. Some of the numbers are not correct because it's a comprehensive report that has to be given to town council. So I thought I would turn it over to you folks tonight, and you can take a look at it and see what you think. You can throw it in the garbage can, you can take bits and pieces from it, whatever you'd like to do. You'll find mistakes in there with respect to numbers, because I just didn't have time to get everything down. Some of Kevin Delaney's charts are in there. I cut and pasted them. So it's a start, and whatever the rest of you feel, do something like that, modify it, tweak it, whatever you want to do. But I did go through my folder and look at what I thought were important points that needed to be shared with town council, and I added them to that report. So I share that with you folks.
Right.
I appreciate that, Dave. Get things on paper and get.
But I'm not gonna
it
finish
too,
it.
so.
If you decide I'm not gonna finish it, because I spent, I'll help. Oh, Lord, I don't know if we, I don't mind.
Or do you have another copy that I
I
can?
do, if it's okay with the committee, I don't want to give out something that we're not supposed to give out
I
yet.
think it's a good idea. I'm looking through this quick and there's a lot of good information here.
Very good.
But if the rest of the commission,
It's assembled really well.
It's up to you guys. If you want to look at it and give me a copy next week, so that way we have it.
It's up to you folks.
I don't mind to give her a soft copy. And,
You have an extra one.
yeah, I think it's important that we include staff comments and whatever, just because they know how things operate. You know, Tina's, I guess, out sick, but, you know, between Barbara, Victoria, Jen, Debbie, they can answer and provide feedback to us about, you know, how things are gonna work.
I don't know if you want Jen's copy to be shared with a lot of people.
We don't have.
No, just stay with, yeah,
You know, I don't-
but she's, yeah,
Yeah,
she's
it's,
part of it.
I'm
so-
okay, I just don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know what the commission wants.
Yeah.
And this is
I
a
just-
Word document, just so you know, I did it on Word, so if you want to use bits and pieces, I could send a Word document to someone.
This is really good, and maybe on top of it, we put a PowerPoint presentation together from it.
Do you
You
like?
know, again, we can go through the details. I think one thing to take a look at, you know, go through our task list.
Yep.
And make sure that we've hit the tasks and kind of answer those questions in a PowerPoint that's presented to the town council and to the public,
That's just all I thought we should.
you know, but we
Follow
got,
that so that
this is
everybody
what we, yeah.
can see how we.
But to have this type of thing behind it is really good. We need all this detail, and obviously the public does, so. Yeah,
Thanks for the effort, Dave. Excellent start to what we have to do. Barbara, do you have any questions or
No,
thoughts?
I think this is an excellent, thank you, David. This
I
is
wanted to
very-
say, Barbara, I didn't know you were a NASCAR fan. I heard you on the radio.
Oh. I am a NASCAR fan.
That's good. Thanks. Mike, any thoughts?
No, I think this is great. Thank you so much, because this is one of those things where it's.
Because we're all thinking that how we do, so.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a good start. I
Yeah.
think a lot of the things that Dave puts in here, especially answer questions and that kind of thing that we can tackle on some of our next meetings that we can, you know, perhaps fill in some of those blanks. This would be great. This is excellent stuff.
Okay, so we'll digest it and over the next couple of days, come up with some ideas we're going to bring to our next weekly meeting, right?
Yes.
So start pulling things together. Get ads, subtract.
We are back in the Board of Ed conference room
Okay.
Thursday. That was just this week because there was conflict down there.
Can't think of anybody else we need to bring in, right? We just need to start pulling this together. Get a report out.
Yeah, I think just having the committee as a working group.
Okay.
is-
That's perfect.
Will we be able to put on the agenda the review of the operating costs, whatever you have at that point, and, you know, blanks?
Yeah, I'll work with Brendan.
Yeah, just to,
Monday on the agenda.
Okay.
Great.
Put on there.
Sure.
I don't know that I have Park and Rec. I'm not sure that I'll have senior center completed. I'm still working on it. As much as I can. And I'll get those attendance numbers from senior center and community center too.
and then based on tonight, we'll add the why
Sure.
as the option.
That's fine.
Yeah, I couldn't put much about the why in there
Right,
because
'cause
they didn't
tonight.
pitch till tonight,
Any
so.
questions, yeah.
Any thoughts? Just going down the line.
No, I think we're actually covered pretty well there. I was really impressed with I took the tour of the Y in Meridian, and it is a really nice, and for the age, it's really in incredible shape. So, and I was surprised how big it was. I walked around there and I thought, my God, what are we building at 70,000 square feet? That's really all I can think of.
No, I'm all set, thank you, Mr. Good.
There's no other points of order here of the.
Barbara just.
Oh, Barbara.
I just have a concern about the fact, I don't know if I'm getting the right reading, but I just feel like there's not enough for the seniors here. And the programs and things like that we have now at the senior center, that we're in charge of ourselves. You know, and I see how much the people appreciate that, what we have there. I don't want to give that up, and I'm just getting the feeling that there's not gonna be the same direction with the seniors, with the one. I mean, I know that they're said they're not gonna turn anybody away, the money is gonna be okay. I had a concern about that, so I was glad to hear him say that. But I'm just concerned about the programs and the offerings, and I see the things that the people enjoy so much now. And I don't want to see those things eliminated or reduced. So that's my concern.
Sure.
I think, like, and you're not going to, I think if you go with the Y option, John said he's not looking to come in here and build a 70,000 square foot facility that the conceptual plan is. He's coming as an addition to the senior center. So the senior center with Tina and the programs that are run would stay, but we have the Y, if we went with the Y option, we'd have the Y in town as well, which would add additional programming, but the senior center would stay where it is and run as it is.
You mean where it is?
That where the location would not change, the senior center would not change. If you went with the Y option, John would come in and he would build a 30,000-40,000 facility, but it would have additional programs, it'd have aqua aerobics, it'd have some other stuff, but it wouldn't replace the senior center. The senior center would still be an operating building, just like the community center would probably still be, the Parks and Rec department would still be an operating department.
In towns where the Y operates, there's a separate senior center run by the town, and there is still Parks and Rec department. There might be some things that the Y can handle that can complement, but, you know, to say the senior center will stay as is, the programs hopefully will remain as is. However, it's up to the town to decide if they build a new senior center. That's how this whole thing started. Because the current senior center has outlived its use. That's what the take was. So now, whether it's believed that you keep what you have, and then, you know, the Y being an option to come in to complement it, or you build a combined community and senior center, okay? Or you do two separate, you know, senior center, community center. But again, you know, probably a combined one makes more sense than just doing two separate buildings. But that's what we need to go through, the statement of need. We gave the Y the statements of need for both Parks and Rec and Senior Center. John articulated, you know, we can't do what you do at the Senior Center. Can't do it. So now Parks and Rec, I'm assuming they can do everything that's in our statement of need. We didn't ask that, but if you look at it, if there's something missing, you let us know. The community center rooms that we currently have, which are at the bottom of the library, that are used by the community, Boy Scouts, etc. Yes, that can stay. To me, that's not Park and Rec. That's community center meeting rooms. That's what it is. Park and Rec is running the parks and the recreational programs in town. And where you do that, you know, again, that's up to the town to decide.
But, yeah, you're correct. We saw some of that information about our capital improvement plan that how departments work on, and the senior center on there for years, right? So we all know that there's work to be done. Many of our facilities. So those are the things that are weighing on our minds. So.
And a lot of the town facilities didn't have senior centers as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty common theme that any place there was a community center slash pool, there wasn't a senior center. I was really surprised at that myself. I thought there'd be more senior centers combined, and there just aren't. They're both separate out.
Two newer facilities.
Actually, the current way is to combine, because you have a lot of the same resources. The seniors use the gym during the day. Teens use it after school. Families use it at night. Pool, gym, meeting rooms, aerobic room, dance room. You know, that's the new wave of things. And I think the newer ones, you saw the combined, not all of them, but you did see them combined. Because it's a great use of space. You don't have two separate sets duplicating the same space.
Which facilities? Mansfield was separate.
Mansfield, yeah, that's a 30-year-old facility, the community center.
Okay.
Newtown.
Which ones? Newtown.
Newtown. Glastonbury was separate. They do a separate senior center. They don't really necessarily have a big community center.
Brantford is fine.
Thank you.
But they didn't have a pool.
No, because the communities, a lot of communities have the pools in the school,
Yeah.
you know, so they don't need to have a pool in their community center. But yeah, we can go through the list. I mean,
There's no reason why a senior, if they want to use the gym during the day at a Y facility, to do that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's basically the senior centers are providing meals and basic exercises, companionship, that kind of thing. Senior centers provide, like the one we have now.
It does a lot of programs, activities,
Yeah.
socials, yes, meals, medical transport, but,
And
you
none of
know,
that will
quite
change.
frankly, it's a fairly active senior center.
None of that would change.
Right, as long as we keep it in town and still operate.
No, it's not,
That's
that's
right.
what I'm saying, it's not going away.
Well, I'll let the town decide.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
you know, we can present our facts to the town council. But we don't make the decision here, the town will.
Okay,
That's why I don't want to see us get off track, because this is how we started. And
Correct.
we started out to just do a senior center, and then it was said that, oh, we should do a senior center, community center, because that's the trend of the future, and I could see that was a better way to do it. So then we were going in that direction, and I just feel like we're separating it now. And I think that's, I don't know, maybe that's just my feeling, and maybe nobody else is getting that same feeling, but I'm an advocate for the seniors, and I want to do what's best for them. And I just think that, you know, we're gonna vote on this in the future. People have to know why we did this, and if we change our mind, why we would change our mind, and why we would eliminate some. I'm afraid programs will be eliminated, because I see what's going on down at the senior center now. That place is full. And I just don't want to eliminate anything, and I don't want them to be separate, you know? The thing is to get them to do everything together, and like Donna said, share the facilities, you know? It's a win-win situation for everybody, I think. And I just don't want us to get off track and say, oh, we'll do the senior center over here and keep it, you know, I just think that's not a good idea. I wish you would come down one day and see what's going on at the senior center.
Been down there.
Have
I'm
you
a
been
member
out
of the
during
senior
the
center.
day?
Yes, I am, I'm a member. I'm a senior, I'm a member of the senior center.
I know, but
Both my
I'm
wives
saying
have been down
to
there.
see the programs and everything, that
Yeah.
people are there all, like today, it was full.
That's
Lot
good.
going on down there. We don't have the meal program yet, because that's a separate thing, but they're starting bingo again, the people are all happy, they're starting the cards again. I mean, it's a good community situation for those people, and that's important.
well, in closing, you know, this was a learning experience. We went out and saw some new facilities and tried to learn from the people that were running them. What worked, what didn't work. So all kinds of different options. Like you said, Tim, not everything was a senior community center, but some of the newer places were. There was one town, I think Brantford, that used to have separate facilities. Renovated a building with an addition and brought them both back into the same one. So I appreciate all the comments.
I appreciate all the visits and everything. I think you've all done a wonderful
Like
job.
Donna said, we're not trying to make decisions here. We're just trying to gather some information so we can push it forward and keep it moving. So we'll meet again next week and start trying to pull some of this together. I thank Dave for the information. I once again thank the Y for coming.
Thursday, 6 o'clock, Board of
Awesome.
Education.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday's budget. Monday.
Motion to adjourn.
So, keep in mind that I haven't seen it. I get confused.
All in favor for the motion?
Aye.
Aye.